Soft sunlight filters through the sparse forest in Tsavo National Park, Kenya. Veterinarian Marcus drives an old Jeep along a red dirt road leading into the deep forest area. He carries out his daily duty, checking the health of the elephants and other large animals living in the reserve. The wind blows gently, carrying the scent of dry grass, and a few antelope leaders quietly pass through the bushes ahead of his vehicle. At the western dry lake, Marcus sees the elephants gathering to drink water and bathe in the dust as usual. But not far away, an adult elephant stands alone, head slightly lowered. He squints to look closely, sees that it does not move, does not flap its ears or wag its tail like the others. Marcus slows down, puts up his binoculars, and observes. The elephant stands motionless, its eyes vacant. There seems to be something unusual on its back, a large swelling like an infected wound. The elephant tried to lift its right leg but stopped, growling softly as if groaning, then stood still, panting heavily. Marcus's heart began to beat faster. Something was wrong with this giant creature. He turned off the car, sat silently for a few minutes, observing the elephant's behavior, feeling the pain in every movement. It blinked slowly, breathing heavily as if trying to endure an indescribable pain. This was not temporary fatigue. This was a silent cry for help in the dry wilderness. Marcus decided to act. He opened the car door, slung his medical backpack over his shoulder, and cautiously approached the animal. When Marcus approached, the elephant did not panic, nor did it turn away. It just stood there, its eyes fixed on him. It seemed to know he had come to help, and that moved Marcus deeply. He walked slowly, speaking softly, and watching the elephant's movements to gauge its reaction. As they approached, the elephant suddenly dropped to its knees, its head bowed low, a rare gesture in the wild. Marcus stood frozen, his heart pounding, not from fear, but from a sense of absolute trust. He sat down next to it, examined it, and began to run his hand along its spine. Immediately, Marcus felt a large, hot, oozing abscess, a serious wound. The wound seemed to have become deeply infected, causing the animal to suffer excruciating pain as it tried to stand. Marcus turned to take the radio from his backpack, quickly calling the nearest rescue station. "This is Marcus at coordinates west of Tsavo. I have found an adult elephant with serious injuries, requiring urgent assistance." He described the symptoms in detail, emphasizing the severity and requesting anesthetic and medical supplies immediately. While waiting for the team to arrive, Marcus sat next to the elephant, clearing the grass around it and reassuring it in a soothing voice. The elephant did not take its eyes off him. Its breathing slowed, sometimes even closing its eyes slightly as if it wanted to rest. The sun gradually rose, casting shadows on the animal's large body and the figure sitting silently beside it. The sound of a helicopter echoed from afar. The veterinary team had arrived, carrying the hope of saving that great life. The helicopter landed gently on the open ground, dust flying everywhere. 3 people jumped down with a first aid kit. Marcus quickly stood up, led the team to the elephant's position, and repeated the situation he had just observed. A doctor injected anesthetic into the elephant's hind leg, gently and precisely, avoiding aggravating the wound. The elephant gradually relaxed its body, closed its eyes, and then lay on its side as if it was ready to be healed. The team immediately got to work. One person shaved the hair around the abscess, another prepared a medical knife. The abscess swelled as big as a coconut. Yellow pus had begun to ooze from both sides of the swelling. They made a small incision. Pus gushed out strongly, giving off a suffocating stench. Marcus gritted his teeth and continued to hold the hose to clean out all the pus inside the giant abscess. After thoroughly disinfecting, they placed a drainage tube and proceeded to stitch up the separated muscle. Each needle was inserted with utmost care, because just one mistake could cause the wound to reinfect. Another doctor applied antibiotics directly to the damaged area and secured it with a bandage soaked in gauze. Marcus checked the elephant's breathing and heart rate, breathing a sigh of relief when all parameters stabilized within acceptable limits. The field surgery lasted nearly 2 hours in the scorching heat of the African grasslands. Once completed, they placed food, leaves, fresh branches, and fruits next to the elephant and retreated to the monitoring station. The elephant began to wake up, twitching its ears slightly and taking a few deep breaths, its eyes slowly opening to perceive its surroundings. It didn't panic, just lay still for a few minutes, then slowly pushed itself up, its back still wrapped in white bandages. Marcus held his breath and watched, and then what moved everyone? The elephant trumpeted softly toward him. It didn't run, it wasn't afraid, just a long look, like a silent thank you that transcended language barriers. Marcus stepped forward, bowed his head, his heart filled with a sacred feeling he had never known before. The veterinary team patted him on the shoulder. Everyone understood. Marcus had become a familiar person in the wild world of that elephant. The sky began to turn, the sunlight slanted long across the dry field, but in their hearts, the light had not yet gone out. The team withdrew, leaving the monitoring station with the camera, and Marcus volunteered to stay behind to monitor the first night. He slept on the folding seat in the Jeep, occasionally opening his eyes to follow the elephant's still silent figure in the bushes. In the quiet night of Tsevo, only the sound of insects and the deep breathing of the great creature slowly recovering could be heard. The next morning, Marcus woke up in the fresh air, the sun just rising from behind the trees. He stepped out of the car, stretched, and walked towards the bushes where the elephant had rested the night before. Bari, the name Marcus had given it, was standing, eating young leaves slowly and calmly. The bandage on its back was still intact, but its movements were more flexible, no longer stiff as the day before. Marcus called softly, "Bari," and the elephant raised its head, its ears flapping slightly, as if in response to that familiar call. It took a few steps closer to him, stopped, and then gently touched Marcus's hand with its trunk in a gesture of affection. Marcus placed his hand on the elephant's forehead, feeling the warmth and trust that could not be explained by reason. He examined the wound, seeing that the skin had begun to dry, the dead skin replaced by new, pale pink tissue. Bahari's recovery left Marcus choked up. A new page of the battle for survival had begun. He returned to the station, carefully recording the progress, preparing for the next days of treatment. For 2 weeks, Marcus visited Bahari every morning and late afternoon to check and change the bandages. The elephant always took the initiative to come closer, lying down in the same place every time he saw Marcus carrying a medical kit. The staff at the station began jokingly calling Marcus the best friend of the Tsevo elephants. Bahari recovered very quickly, even playing with the water in the hole when it rained. It ate more, walked decisively, and once used its trunk to spray water on Marcus as if teasing him. Marcus laughed out loud. His heart felt as if it was being healed by each step of his special friend's recovery. A month later, Bahari's bandages were completely removed. A long scar on its back was a mark of survival. Even though he was healthy, he still stopped by the ranger station every afternoon, standing silently in front of Marcus's room for a while. It was a strange habit, like a silent thank you ritual of an elephant who survived pain. Marcus recorded the entire recovery process, sending it to an international conservation organization as a rare case study. The media knew about the story, but Marcus always refused to be interviewed, he said. The credit goes to Bahari. His resilience changed the way many people viewed the emotions and intelligence of African elephants. One afternoon in May, Marcus stood from afar watching Bahari rejoin the herd on the other side of the stream. He stopped, turned his head and bellowed softly, as if saying goodbye to the benefactor who had saved his life. Marcus smiled, clasped his hands and waved goodbye, knowing that even if they would never meet again, that friendship would live forever in his heart. Since that day, Marcus has continued his work in Tsevo with a heart stronger than ever. He always remembers the moment the elephant knelt down, trustingly giving its life to human hands. Bahari is not just a patient, but a symbol of trust between humans and wild nature. That story inspires thousands of people around the world to believe in compassion between species. And in the windy plains of Tsevo, a warrior named Bahari still lives, like a true legend. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to read the whole story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Goodbye and see you in the next episodes.